Mags, a hectic sort of game week coming up for you, obviously with the National League Cup game tomorrow and then back in National League action on Saturday, but of course off the back of a bit of a break for yourselves. I mean, first things first, how have you been using that break and how have things been going over the last sort of week or so?
Yeah, we got some high load into them last week. The break was welcome, but then it was also important to make sure that we got some high distance sort of running into them, making sure that they worked hard. We'd still give them the days off because the week prior to having the time off was pretty hectic, especially with the travel to Sutton. So yeah, it was a real good opportunity for us to bring in a lot of detail, focus on a lot of aspects of our play, and then obviously having Simon Grayson in was brilliant as well. Si's been a great help in terms of dropping in his knowledge as well, so it was a great week.
Without delving too much into the tactical side of things necessarily, what have you been able to do over the last sort of week or so that you haven't really had the time to be able to do so far?
Yeah, it was just more pitch time. Players want to be active all the time in sessions. As a player, I always want to be on the go and have as much high intensity sessions as possible, but I think it's really important that we slowed it down a little bit. We walked through some concepts and revisited, like I said when I first took over, just give us an opportunity to revisit all the good things that were happening at the club before I had arrived. It lost its way a little bit in the interim period, so it was just revisiting, and players, they understand that, in this period that we needed to sort of slow the sessions down and get the right information into them, and they were great, they're really receptive to it. And then once we get the sessions up and running again, you can see all those concepts starting to come out comfortably in our play. So we feel like we've got them in a really good place after last week.
Yeah, and with the National League Cup game against Leeds under-21s, of course, coming up tomorrow at the stadium, is it an opportunity in part to try and put those processes and things like that into practice that you have been looking at over the last week or so?
Yeah, 100%. It'll be a great test in terms of, I think there's times where we've set up to really press teams, and we haven't really been able to do that because teams generally start to go direct against us. So we anticipate that Leeds will want to try and play, so it'll give us a good opportunity to focus on some of our out of possession work. And you've got to respect the quality because they'll be young, they'll be brave, they'll want to play, and if you don't get the press right, they'll play through you and you'll be doing hard yards that otherwise you shouldn't really be doing. So it's a good opportunity from that perspective, and then also players that haven't had enough game time gives them a great opportunity. Since me coming in, those who haven't been able to play those games, this is a good platform for them to show us what they're capable of, and it's a really competitive squad, as we all know, so they've really got to use it as an opportunity for them to stake their claim to start against Fylde.
Yeah, and with the break that you have had recently, obviously you mentioned getting high load into the players, but also I suppose a bit of opportunity for lads who've had a lot of minutes recently to have a bit of a rest. So how is everything looking sort of fitness-wise going into this, double game week really now? Yeah,
no real fresh injury concerns. We've got players coming back, which is a positive. And this period, as much as it's been important to get information in, and obviously players getting game time, those that have played regularly, you really need to focus on recovery as well. So getting the balance right between getting players up to speed, but also allowing players to switch off and have that time to recover has been really important, and I think we've balanced that really well.